everybody. Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back with another two films to review. We're reviewing two films. The first being The Wolf of Snow Hollow. The second being Borat. Well, I said Borat 2, but what was the full title again? Borat what?
Well, it's not the full title, but it's Borat's subsequent movie film. And then it's like, 10 words more than that after that. But,
there's no way we're going to fit all on that. So it's going to just be Borat 2, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone will know what you mean.
Yeah, if you can't figure it out from there, I'm sorry for you. But
right.
you should be able to figure that out. So
right.
But so we'll get into those two films. I guess let's just get right into it, man. So I'm going to have you go ahead and start, if you don't mind. I'll have you start with the first film, which is The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Can you tell us a little bit about that one, Jason?
Yeah, cool. This is it's a werewolf movie. Basically, it is it's a werewolf movie set in a small town up north in the cold. So it's I didn't know this going in, but it's actually a Christmas movie, kind of. Because I was watching this before Halloween because it's a werewolf movie, but it's actually more of a Christmas movie. And I like Christmas horror movies. But anyway, I'm getting off the point here. It's a movie about a small town that is being terrorized by a werewolf. Everybody knows the thing about werewolves. Full moon. Every time there's a full moon, they're discovering like a body that's ripped apart, and so they think werewolf. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the bones of the plot without getting into the spoilers or anything like that. The main character is played by Jim Cummings. I forget the name of his character, but his real name is Jim Cummings. He's there on the poster. He also wrote and directed the film, and it also is the final film for Robert Forster. So Robert Forster, of course, one of the greatest actors ever, recently passed away, and this was his final film. So I like this movie a lot. It's my kind of movie. I like horror movies. I like movies about small town communities that make it feel like a real place, but also kind of unusual too at the same time. I really like the way this movie did not. It didn't like set down stakes in any particular genre. It kept me on my toes, I guess you could say, because it's like it's a little bit horror, it's a little bit comedy, it's a little bit drama, it's a little bit mystery. There's some action. Again, like I said, it's a Christmas movie, sort of. So it keeps you on your toes, the way it weaves back and forth between genres. And I really enjoyed that, basically. There's good action. It's a good mystery. It definitely surprised me more than once. I really enjoyed it. It's one that I'll definitely be revisiting every once in a while. So how about you, Kier?
First of all, I'll say it's very loosely based on Christmas. If you're going to say either outside of a scene or two, I'm not really for sure that I would consider to be a Christmas movie. So,
it's as much a Christmas movie as Die Hard. It's got Christmas music in it, Christmas lights. It takes place at Christmas time.
I don't know. I think you're stretching a little bit on that one. I thought it was okay. I don't think I loved it quite as much as you did. I thought it was really silly in parts and a little hokey in parts. It felt like a film that didn't really quite know what it was trying to do. And I don't know. I felt like the lead actor, maybe because he's also the director and writer. I don't know. I felt like some of his acting sometimes was a little questionable in my opinion. I thought he was overacting sometimes with certain scenes. Just my opinion. It had enough going for it where, I thought it was okay. I didn't necessarily love it, but I definitely had some issues with it for sure. It does have some decent twists and turns. Scary. There's a couple scenes. Most of them are kind of off camera though, or the aftermath of it, I felt like. So there were some scary moments. I can't say it was like super terrifying. There are definitely better werewolf movies, I would say, for sure. Not a bad way to spend 85 minutes or whatever the running time was on it. It's not very long. So, but I thought it was just okay overall. So didn't love it, but didn't hate it either. So. That's my take.
All right.
So, Yeah, I know it's
Drawing
horror,
again,
so
but okay.
I know it's horror, so it automatically has like 3 stars going into it for you, and then just goes up from there. But if you're on the outside
Yeah, well,
looking
that's an
in,
interesting point. That's an interesting point because we've talked about this before. Is that I think there's two ways of watching movies where a movie starts out at 5 stars and goes down while you watch it, or it stays the same if it's great. Or you can start it at 0 stars and it has to work its way up. I'm a person that, like, when it starts, it's at 5 stars and it goes down as I watch it, unless it's a masterpiece, of course. You start at 0, so I think that's probably why I always rate higher and you always rate lower, because it's got to work hard to come up from 0, for you especially.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess I go back to, I think it was Roger Ebert that said that he starts with a blank canvas and he's waiting for it to like be basically the pictures to be filled up. You know what I mean? And I think that would be starting at 0 for me. So, and I think that's more appropriate. You start with nothing. You know what I mean? So that would be 0. I think that's the way that I feel like, well, obviously not you, but I feel like a lot of people would go into a film as it starts off with nothing, no expectations, unless it's a film like it's got a director that I really know and respect a lot, and I'm already kind of sold on it. I'm really excited to see it. But if it's something that I know nothing about, I know nothing about the director, I know a very minimum about the topic, or other than it being a werewolf film, I'm probably just going into it with a blank canvas and I'm waiting to see, what are you going to present to me? And so by natural, it's going to start at a 0 because I'm not automatically going to say it's perfect before it's even started. So I'm going to go from the bottom up. You're going to have to tell me, what your film's about. And then from there, I'll make a determination of where you're going to fall. And so, scenes happen and I'm like, okay, it's doing okay, and then I may quickly jump to 3. And then, I'm like, okay, this acting's a little questionable. Then I may dip back down to 2.5, or, that was a cool scene. Okay. And then at the end of the day, I kind of make a decision of where it's going to be at. And, in many cases, it's 3 or below. Everything all right over
there? Yeah. Somebody's honking their horn in the parking lot.
Oh, all right.
Someone disagrees with you also, so.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
But I mean, not it wasn't a terrible movie. I didn't dislike it by any means. I just didn't think there was anything that special about it. Like I said, there is some, I'll say, original kind of twists and turns that happened towards the end. But overall, I felt like some of the acting was a little questionable to me, and some of the scenes I was just kind of like pulled away because I don't know, just the lead character mostly was just, obviously Robert Forster is always great in almost everything, but the lead character, I don't know. I don't know if I would say he's a great actor per se. He might be a good writer, a good director, but some of his starring vehicles, I'm kind of like, I don't know. So, but but that's what he wants to do. He wants to star. He wants to write it. He wants to direct it, produce it, and do everything. Something's going to be lacking somewhere. So just my take.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Well, that was The Wolf of Snow Hollow. The next film, which is Borat.
Subsequent movie film, like I said.
Long title, or part 2. So if you know the story of the Borat story, is he's basically from Kazakhstan, and the first film he comes to America, and he kind of deals, his goal is basically to make people feel uncomfortable as possible. So it's kind of shot like a documentary. There's obviously his lines are scripted. There's other people's lines that are usually scripted in these films, but he does do interviews with real people. Like in this case, it's there's a real situation that happens with Rudy Giuliani that a lot of people have probably heard about from this film. That was a real. The actress was playing her part, but I don't think really Giuliani was in on the joke, basically. So did some questionable things. And that's basically kind of what this character does is basically just kind of push the boundaries and push the limit. And obviously the main star, he's done other films like Ali G, where it's kind of the same situation, or Bruno, kind of the same situation, where they're all kind of shot in kind of like this like mock documentary kind of thing. But it is also scripted, but there is real elements that do happen in it as well. So this one's part two. So basically, the lead character, the Borat guy, is basically, years later from the first one, obviously, and he's been basically sent to basically prison there, because they didn't like his first film that he did, and for Kazakhstan, he felt like it made them look bad. And then they basically decide that they want to, with the looming presidential election coming up, they basically want him to, I guess, kind of present a gift to basically Donald Trump or Mike Pence or one or the other or both, basically. And in this one, he basically takes his daughter with him to the U.S. and basically to present a gift to either Donald Trump or to Mike Pence or to maybe even Rudy Giuliani. And that's basically kind of where the film goes from there. So there's obviously a lot of comedy. There's obviously a lot of series of mishaps. There's a lot of scenes that, you kind of cringe because, him and his daughter in the film are basically, they're scripted, they're doing things, but these are real people that they're interacting with, and they're making them very uncomfortable, like writing things on cakes or that are very inappropriate, or making people saying things in front of people that's very inappropriate, or a very inappropriate dance for sure that just makes people very uncomfortable. It's kind of what the shtick is for this film. It's funny. I enjoy it. It's funny. It does make people very uncomfortable. You definitely will get a lot of laughs out of it. But I felt like kind of like this one, along with the first one, is they're typically the kind of films that I watch once and then I probably won't watch again. I'll say that was funny. I enjoyed it, but it makes you so uncomfortable that I kind of wonder, do you revisit this very often, or is this just kind of like a one and done thing, especially because it's usually involved around the presidential climate or whatever's going on in this film. So I don't know if 2 years from now you're really gonna go back and watch the Borat subsequent movie film again. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I definitely got a lot of laughs out of it. Wasn't perfect by any means, but overall, like I said, if you're looking for something that pushes the boundaries and you're okay with humor that makes people uncomfortable, then you're probably going to enjoy it. But if you are easily offended or that sort of stuff, then this probably wouldn't be the film for you, in my opinion. So and I'll just kind of leave it at that. What was your take, Jason?
Yeah, I liked it. It sounds like we're kind of on the same page with this one, except our ratings won't be the same probably. But I liked it. I definitely laughed a lot, and I laughed really loud a few times. But yeah, kind of just like the first one, it just leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I'm fully in line with his politics. I'm all for making conservatives look like fools, frankly. No offense, but I have no problem with that. But it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth a little bit. So yeah,
it's also kind of, there's one thing to when interviewers ask people questions, whether you're conservative or liberal or whatever, and they're asking people questions about certain things and they come across as just looking, uninformed or not very intelligent, that kind of stuff. Not so much political, but like when Jay Leno used to do his, walks in the street and stuff like that, he would ask people that lived in Los Angeles, the capital of California, and many of them would say Los Angeles instead of Sacramento, where we live, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's funny in that kind of way. It's funny. Okay, this person's not very bright. We laugh. We get a joke out of it. With these films, it's so mean-spirited that you almost feel sorry for the person that they're spoofing or that they're making fun of, you know what I mean? Because it is so mean-spirited and because it's so offensive and so brash and kind of in your face. So it's like, yeah, it's funny, ha ha ha, but it's kind of like almost to the point where it's almost teeters to the point where you've gone too far. You know what I mean? Where you've kind of crossed that line and you've kind of crossed over. And so I kind of feel like it's a very, sometimes I feel like it's kind of a labor to even watch it sometimes because of the, how in your face with it they are, you know what I mean? So it makes it kind of, it's kind of like doing this. Yeah. You're like laughing, but you're also kind of cringing inside as well, because it makes even me feel uncomfortable in certain scenes that he does in these films. And so I don't know, like, and that's what I mean by, do you go back and you revisit this film often? Unless like I said, I'm not a prude by any means. I don't mind toilet humor films. I love all kinds of films that are comedies that are not very, very low brow and that kind of stuff. But, the way he's just so in your face and so brash and abrasive about it, I just feel like over time you kind of, you laugh, you'll say it's good, you'll say it's funny, but I don't even know if that I've ever even watched the first one for a second time. You know what I mean? I think I watched it just that once, thought it was funny, and didn't and never revisited. I don't believe, because again, and that one has some really really graphic scenes and stuff like that in there that would probably lend itself to people maybe not necessarily want to go back and watch it again. This one didn't have as many of those type scenes that were in the first one that I'm thinking about, but it still was very in your face and still made you feel very uncomfortable. And even the situation with Rudy Giuliani, where there's a scene, without going into spoilers, but it's already all over the internet already at this point, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. But there is a scene where supposedly his Borat's daughter is doing an interview, and she's supposed to be like an underage kind of girl. And there's a scene with Rudy Giuliani that's very questionable, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And it's like one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it's kind of like I gotcha moment, but it's also kind of a, it's very uncomfortable and makes me feel really weird about it. So I don't know. It kind of puts me in a weird place where it's like I'm laughing, but there's also that part of me that's cringing as well. So I don't know. So it just makes it kind of tough, I feel like, to really say that it's definitely not a film for everybody. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? You're definitely going after a very targeted audience and a very specific demographic that are going to jive with this film to begin with. And then there's these scenes that, even though I'm probably on the same political spectrum to some capacity of the main star of this film, but I'm also kind of like, ooh, that's you're almost going to that line where I'm uncomfortable now. So and like I said, there's a scene where him and his daughter are doing this dance in front of like this like assembly place or whatever with these I don't know what they are. What are they, like young Republicans or something? I can't remember what they were. So
no, it was like a debutante's ball.
Oh yeah, like some sort of ball or something like that. And they do this dance. It's just very, very, and I don't want to go, like I said, not going into spoilers, but it's very uncomfortable because the people there were very uncomfortable. So it's very uncomfortable. And there's another scene where his daughter gives a speech at a podium in front of these women about, being free, being women, and she kind of goes off into a tangent about that, and it made the women there feel very uncomfortable, and and it made me feel uncomfortable as well. So it's like a really fine, touchy line of being funny and kind of overstepping the boundaries a little bit. And so, like I said, I enjoyed it, but it's like I don't know that I'd rewatch it personally. I can't say that I wouldn't rewatch it, but I don't know that I would be in line to to rewatch it. And like I said, I only saw the first one, I believe, maybe once. I might have seen bits and pieces of it on TV a second time, but it just wasn't something that I necessarily revisited. And I liked it a lot, you know what I mean? But it just, it's just one of those films that gets kind of tough to stomach in some points. So
I will say that the lady who played his daughter was really good. Like, to me, she was like the MVP of the movie. Her name was Maria Bakalova, I think. But I think she was great. I think she was really good. But yeah, pretty much all that you said.
Yeah, I agree. She is really good, but she's also very, complicit in the uncomfortable. Most of the scenes that were very uncomfortable were because of her. You know what I mean? Because she was supposed to be like this underage girl. I think in real life she is like an adult, but in the film she's supposed to be like this underage girl or whatever. So it made it very, very uncomfortable from that standpoint. So, but I agree. She was great. I'd never heard of her and didn't know her before this film, but I thought she did a really, really good job acting for sure. So Cool. Well, anything else you wanted to add about this one? All right.
No.
Cool. Oops. I always do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we are a review show, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Wolf of Snow Hollow. I guess overall grade and face you would give this one.
I really enjoyed it. I would give it a 4 out of 5, B+, which is this face. Smile with some teeth.
Cool.
And it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I guess. After I've seen a movie and I don't like immediately think Christmas, I'm just like I don't know. So, but yeah. So obviously, we're always a little ways apart on these for sure. I'm actually gonna probably go. I think I'm gonna go with 2.5 out of 5 on this one actually. So it just there were a lot of issues that I had with the film overall. There are some good moments. There is a decent twist, but there were some issues I had with the film, particularly the lead. So I'm gonna go with 2.5 out of 5, and I'm gonna give it this face, which is just a straight face. So not terrible, but not great. So hey, different strokes for different folks, man. Yeah. And Borat 2. What?
You mean Borat subsequent movie film?
Yeah, that one. Yes, that one. What's your overall grade and face you would give that film?
I enjoyed it, even if I had a little more of a mixed reaction than the other film. So I would give it, but I still think it's a worthwhile movie. It definitely made me laugh a lot, and it's got some interesting, thought-provoking material. That's for sure. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5, which is a solid B for me, which is this face. Smile with no teeth.
Cool. Yeah, we're not going to be too far off on this one. I'm going to go probably with a 3 out of 5. But I'm going to give it the same face, which is also a smile with no teeth. So kind of just sit with that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, that's our review of those 2 films. If you've seen either or seen both, let us know down in the comments your thoughts, your takes on it. Are we both right, both wrong? One of us right, one of us wrong. Usually Jason's the wrong one.
Right.
But let us know your overall thoughts and takes on those films. And then, as always, if you like the channel, you like the show, we do ask that you obviously like, subscribe, and then as always, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. And we'll be back again real soon with another show for you. We thank you for watching and hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.